नैनों से नैनों 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 से नैना नैना नैनों से नैना मिला वो मेरे साहिबा अब तेरी मोहब्बत लगी अल्लाह जल्ले शान अल्लाह जल्ले शान अल्लाह 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 जल्ले शान अल्लाह जल्ले शान तेरी सना करते हैं मौला तेरी सना करते हैं मौला तीनों मलक इंसान अल्लाह जल्ले शान अल्लाह जल्ले शान अल्लाह जल्ले शान अल्लाह जल्ले अल्लाह जल्ले अल्लाह जल्ले
That was very interesting. Now, tell us a bit about yourselves. Alain, you're the guitarist and you are doing a fringe show.
I'm doing a fringe show, of course, with these lovely people, which starts on the 12th of March. Am I
12th of
correct?
March,
12th,
yeah.
I got that right.
Okay.
And we're doing 3 shows. We're doing one at the Trinity Church in Adelaide, Goodwood. We're doing the Jade in Adelaide, but the main one that we're here for, I guess, is the courthouse at Auburn.
Okay.
Clearly.
Yeah, which we've done. We did that last year. It was a great night,
Yep.
and they've asked us back. So it's a similar show with some differences, and yeah, sort of really excited about
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to plug another show. Actually, we're doing First Nations show.
Oh, yes.
So I've been
Seen
doing that with Russell Smith, who's didgeridoo player with Midnight Oil, Paul
Yes.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Von der Last and Glenn Scewthorpe.
Yeah.
We're sort of
Yeah.
roughly halfway
Yes,
through
I've
that.
spoken to Glenn.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Glenn's wonderful.
Yeah, he's great.
So I've had a really busy fringe.
Yes. Yeah.
But
We're
yes,
very lucky though, aren't we? Here?
I think it's been good this year.
Mhm.
Certainly, it's good for local people
Mhm.
as well, sort of just less international, so the competition's a little bit down.
Yeah, that's
so,
true too.
Yeah, so yeah, sort of roughly me, I guess.
Okay.
I'm basically the guitarist, and I've been working quite a bit with Farhan,
Yes.
and yeah, it's really
And how long
exciting.
have you been singing, Farhan?
I've been singing pretty much
I remember like last 18 years,
Mhm.
18, 19
Okay.
years.
Yeah.
But yeah, here in Australia for last 4 years,
Okay.
and have been able to really have been able to express this music, Sufi music.
Mhm.
So a show called Sufi Music Highway, which
Yes.
we have been presenting in French for last 3 years,
Okay.
but different themes.
Mhm.
And we did got 5 stars for our performances from
Yes.
Adelaide advertisers.
Mhm.
And this funny title I received from advertiser. It was Pakistani Pavarotti.
Okay.
Yeah, so Farhan is the Pakistani Pavarotti.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. So yeah, so good and very well received. This music has been in Australia, and recently I was awarded UNESCO City of Music Award
Okay.
at
Nice.
South Australian Music Awards.
Wow.
So that has been like achievements in Australia based
Mhm.
on this music. So yeah, it's good, and I mean we are very lucky to be here in Adelaide right now
Yes.
and celebrating this French festival. And best news I got last night that our Trinity gig is now sold out.
Oh, excellent.
So and
Excellent.
now 2 more to go. Is as the land said, one is Jade,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
one-
yes, yes.
and the one which we are here today is at Auburn Courthouse, Clearville.
Yes.
So that's picking it up, and I think there are limited seats.
Mhm.
So anyone who's listening this and likes to know about Sufi music and Indian Kathak dancing,
Mhm.
and some narrations and history about the culture and tradition and instruments should come and eat some samosas as well with us.
Yes. Absolutely. Now, Matali,
Yes.
you're a dancer.
Yes.
And how long have you been dancing? All your
So
life?
I started dancing when I was 2.5 years old.
Okay.
So around
All your life.
20. Yes, 20 years now. So I do Indian classical dancing called Kathak.
Mhm.
And some of the most important aspects of this dance form is one is storytelling, where
yes.
dancers actually one character, they will play many roles.
Mhm.
They take a turn, become a different character, tell a story,
Yes.
and then play another character as well. So that is one of the aspects of this dance form. And the other is the very technical aspect, where we show footwork, spinning.
Mm.
Something very interesting about this dance form is that we have cycles of beats. For instance, we could have 16 beats which go as tha, dhin, dhin,
Mhm.
tha, tha, dhin, dhin,
Mhm.
tha,
Wow.
tha, tin, tin, ta, ta, dhin, dhin, tha. And all the technical pieces, some trick that we always have to achieve is that our technical piece should start on the first beat of this cycle and also end on the first beat of this cycle.
Okay.
So the audience who is really knowledgeable about this dance form will look for that.
Mhm.
And if you're not able to end on that first beat, then you've failed.
Oh,
So
okay.
would you like to hear a piece like that? I'll show in this like slowest beat called Vilambit,
Mhm.
and then I'll start on the first beat and then end on the first beat.
Okay.
Okay, so goes as tha, dhin, dhin, tha, tha, dhin, dhin, tha, tha, tin, tin, ta, ta, dhin, dhin. Uthan, dhadakita, 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 dha, tit, tha, dha, tit, tha, dha, tit, tha, tit, tha. Dhadakita, 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 dha, tit, tha, dha, tit, tha, dha, tit, tha, tit, tha. Dhadakita, 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 dha, tit, tha, dha, tit, tha, dha, tit, tha, tit, tha. So that was the first beat.
Wow, that's fabulous. And I was going to say, it sounds very technical.
Yes,
But,
it
yeah,
is,
There's a
yeah.
lot to it. So, did your parents, like teach you to dance like?
No, so my guru is in India. Her name is Dr. Mrs. Manjari Dev,
Mhm.
and we moved to Singapore when I was 9. So I was very keen on learning from her because she is
Okay.
one of the best.
Yes.
So I used to I used to travel back to India every 3 months to continue my training.
Mhm.
And I have also given 5 university exams in India. So there's a lot of theory that we have to do. We have theory as well as
Ah.
practical exams.
Okay.
So yes, it is a very technical art
Yeah,
form. Yeah.
Wow, sounds fascinating.
It's probably worth adding too that Indian rhythms, whether in conical or which is an expression of rhythmic structure, is actually being widely used in the West now because of its complexity, but also because of its innate nature because it's vocalized.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yes.
musicians don't actually, particularly Western musicians, don't really vocalize their rhythms.
Yeah.
And it's just a great way of communicating. It's very complex,
Yes.
very difficult
Yeah.
thing to understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think one of the blessings we have in Australia of being multicultural is that as Western musicians we can take these things. I mean, I know that it's helped me
Yes.
immensely, and even working with Farhan too. You know, there's different systems, but the Indian aspect of rhythm is starting to be widely used in the West, particularly amongst jazz musicians.
And how long have you been working together?
Me and Alan have been working. We met at this series called Interplay at Nexus Art, and it was like love at first sight.
It was music. Let's just say it was musical love at first sight.
So yeah, and then I really liked his style and adaptation, and plus he knew about Sufi music. So
Okay.
he's somebody who has been playing with like different musicians and different artists for last 20-30 years. Right?
To be honest, I've been crying out for some Sufi musicians for 20 years,
Well,
and
there
there
you
he
go.
was.
Yeah.
it was-
And
Isn't
then
that funny how you meet
It's
up?
yeah,
at the
I
right
mean
time?
it's magical. We met together, and then some of the Sufi masters who I have been following, and I got to know that Alan actually keeps records of all of this. Like he has been listening this music for like years and years, and then we started doing this music together. We have Keith Preston on Santoor, and I met him. He's an excellent musician and a very good friend as well. Then we did play with Satomi as well. Satomi basically from Japan, but based in Adelaide. She is a drummer and rhythm player, and Ravi in Melbourne, he plays Indian tablas. He's a harmonium player as well. And then not very recently, last year around French time, I got to know about Mithali. So when I saw her videos, I was like, this is excellent dancing. Like I have collaborated with other dancers like in Adelaide, in Australia, and outside Australia as well. But then I never knew about her, that somebody we have in Adelaide of that caliber. And then I just said, why aren't you performing with us? And she said, I want to perform. We can do it. And then she came to our show last year, and then I was like, next year if it happens, we will definitely play together. And then this year it is happening, and she will be collaborating with us, and I'm so excited for. She will be doing her solo dancing, but then I'll be messing with her rhythms when we collaborate on pieces between the performances, and that will be like impromptu.
Okay.
So she will have no idea that what
Okay.
we are doing. So that's gonna be fun.
It's quite tricky because the dancer is the one who's really visible, so we look like we have forgotten things or
Yes.
making mistakes, and the singers are just
We will have a good time
doing
on
the-
stage. We'll just. I mean, that's the beauty
Yeah.
and brilliance you show, that if you have given time and energy to some and dedication to your music and your art form, and that actually shows like nothing is wrong if you know your art form. So everything is just fine because it comes naturally.
That's right.
And people can gauge that okay, they are having some good time on stage, and
Should be a lot
this,
of fun.
this is my
Yeah.
winding out time. Like I'll be winding out time on stage. I've been very busy, so they say, what do you do for holidays or like for chilling out time? I said I go on stage and then I
Yes.
chill. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So this is I'm very excited, and
Yeah.
everyone should come and support this multicultural
Yes.
Sufi music
Yeah.
highway group.
It is a wonderful show. It's very hard for us to keep people seated. Like
Oh, I can imagine.
we actually had that issue during the COVID time. We were the first act, I think, at Nexus, a venue, wonderful venue in Adelaide.
September.
And yeah, it was just when the whole lockdown thing sort of stopped, and there was no dancing. You had to sit in your chairs, but yeah, it was just so hard to keep people down, sort of seated. It almost became a Sufi rave party. So there's also that dynamic aspect to the show as well. I think other than just the sheer beauty and power of the music, which obviously you can sit and be immersed in. There's also that element where it really does move you, and Farhan in particular just has a real art of getting people involved, whether it's singing or clapping. The show's always great.
Yeah.
It's always
So
a great
if
show.
you are coming to our show, then be ready to sing, clap, dance
And dance as well.
and immersify, like, so you will get everything. So like when we are sitting, you can close your eyes, you can listen to the rhythms and listen to the chants. But as the rhythm kicks in, I'll ask everyone to stand up and dance. So, and then since we are allowed to for dancing
Yes.
For a week
yes.
now.
for a
Yes.
week now,
Yes.
so just be ready and celebrate the other side of COVID.
And how do you pick and choose what you're going to sing, Farhan? You know, on
It
the-
really depends. So, every time, we have a set list, but when I actually interact with the audience, and then during the performance, we can gauge. Okay, so tonight, the audience is like more like they want to sit and listen. They don't want to stand up and dance. They don't want to clap. And then tonight, the audience just want to dance and clap. So you can gauge after
Okay.
after a track or two. When you crack a joke, if there are people laughing and interacting, and then if there are people like me in the audience is like straight face, okay, all right, that's not a joke. So okay, so you have to gauge that during the performance. So all
Yeah.
sorts of things.
Yeah, okay, so that's one thing I suppose of doing it for so long that and you're an expert at it, so you can gauge what's going on.
Yeah,
And
and sometimes
pick the people-
sometimes the band members and musicians get depressed on the stage that why are you just changing the set list? And they said, we didn't prepare this one. I was like,
Dangerous.
yeah, we didn't prepare this one. I said, we have to do this because end of the day, it's for the audience. So,
Yeah.
so
And
And
how long do the shows-
improvisation's a very,
Yeah.
sorry, I was going to say, it's a
Yes.
very key element, and it's a very exciting element,
Yes.
both for audience and
Yeah,
musicians.
yeah.
Just
And how long does the show run for?
this one will have 2 halves,
Okay.
open. So each set will be of 45 to 50 minutes, and and between with a break of 10 minutes, 15 minutes for food, and so it will have Sufi chants, Sufi songs, Kathak dancing, improvisation,
Yes.
some jokes, dancing, and my silly moves on stage.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll finish off with another song. Is that okay?
Yep.
And then we'll get one last time where you're going to be performing
Yep.
before we say our goodbyes. So, what are you going to sing for us this time?
All right, I'll be singing. We call it the national anthem of Sufis,
Okay.
and from the great Sufi legend Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Australia have featured him in his life twice in War Medley. So we'll be singing the Mast Kalandar, Mast.
Okay.
Talks about the divine intoxication, but in rhythm.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah. All right.
You can clap and repeat after me. The mast kalandar, mast, the mast kalandar, mast. The mast kalandar, mast, the mast kalandar. Alright, just say mast, mast,
Mr. Must.
mast, mast.
Mr. Must.
The mast, mast.
The must.
The mast, the mast kalandar, mast, kalandar, mast. Eko vird hai dam dam Ali Ali, eko vird hai dam dam Ali. So you need to say Ali Ali. Eko vird hai dam dam Ali Ali, eko vird hai dam dam Ali Ali, eko vird hai dam dam Ali Ali, eko vird hai dam dam Ali. Sakhi lal kalandar mast, sakhi lal kalandar mast, jhule lal kalandar mast, hey dam mast kalandar mast, dam mast kalandar mast, dam mast kalandar mast, dam mast kalandar mast. Shana uchiya teri apira mood Maneriya pira mood Maneriya pira asa mein Maneriya pira sunar chahud Maneriya pira Eko vird hai dam dam Ali Ali, eko vird hai dam dam Ali Ali, eko vird hai dam dam, eko vird hai dam dam Ali Ali,
fabulous is that? Good heavens, I like that one. It was very nice. Very
Sort of
nice
amplify that with tablas and drums, and
Yes,
it does
yes. You've got all
literally
your
go
other
off in an
instruments,
Australian
yes.
And the keys, and then there will be solo in which she
Yeah.
will be dancing.
Yes, yes.
Full
Oh, gosh.
presentation will be there.
I
I
reckon
just
it's-
see you spinning around.
Yes, yeah.
I think it's good to sort of add that also Vitali has a school, an
Okay.
academy of sorts.
Oh,
Do you want
okay.
to talk a little bit about that,
Oh,
maybe?
thank you for that. Yes, I do teach Indian classical dancing Kathak. My academy is called the Purchanka Dance Academy,
Mhm.
and it's in Den-dunnen Court.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyone above the age of 5
Okay.
is welcome to join.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's best to start at 2.5.
Yeah.
5 is old school.
Yeah, I suppose it would be, wouldn't it?
But I mean, as an Australian musician, well, first generation Australian musician, I just love the multicultural aspect of this group, and you know, I think it's just such a treat.
And what's your genre of music, Elaine? What do you play all sorts of?
I've been branching out a little bit more. I've been primarily involved with either flamenco or jazz
Yes,
over the
of course,
years.
yes.
Those two things, and also a little bit of Brazilian music as
Mhm.
well. But I've always had an interest in music from the subcontinent. From the age of 18, when I
Okay.
bought a sitar and
Oh, nice.
sort of
yeah.
tried to play that,
Oh, okay.
and then realised how difficult it actually
Oh.
is. So I just stuck with the guitar.
Okay.
But I've also sort of worked with a lot of musicians either from India or well, they like to call themselves Persian, but Iranians, and also have worked with some Sephardic singers or Israeli. And having an East European background or an Indo-European background, it all resonates. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be go for many of us in Australia actually
Yeah,
as
I
well,
think,
particularly
yes.
from the immigrants from the 50s.
Yeah.
There's a real connection there, and it's also just that beauty of community, musical community.
Yeah.
And I think we've got to thank Nexus for that, don't we, Farhan?
Yep.
Really.
This was how we met.
Yeah, and also what the work that they do, just bringing people together who would normally just be isolated from each other. Yeah.
And what do you do, Farhan, when you're not doing the Fringe? Do you do your shows out and about?
Yeah.
LA?
So I don't want to brag about myself, but
Right away.
recently last year got covered for this. So I've been able to pull up 100 performances in last 3.5 years in Australia
Okay.
and around the world. So I was able to tour to Portugal, Canada, Dubai, and Pakistan
Wow.
between 2017, 18, and 19. Plus, we were able to do like mini festivals in Australia. So talk about Fringe Festival, Denmark, the Perth Voice Festival, Salam Festival in Melbourne, and so I've been part of and Woodford Folk Festival last year, which was like the highlight. We did like 8 shows in Woodford Folk Festivals, with like each of the halls was like 9,000 people, 8,000 people, 5,000. So life has been very, very blessed in Australia in the last 4 years, and then not only with this contemporary group. So I've been able to make like 3 different groups. So this is like Sufi contemporary group, but then I have like a traditional Qawwali group, which is like a very traditional in form, and then I have this other commercial kind of music group, which like which suits a very, very niche audience of Pakistani and Indian kind of thing. But
Yes.
I really enjoyed this multicultural kind of performance where we all come together. So in my contemporary group, we have like as I said, Japanese drummer, and then we have like Alan being inspired. Alan is like an Australian, but
Yes.
like flamenco
Yes.
inspired thing. Then we have Mithali from India
Yeah.
doing Kathak dance, and then we have Keith playing santoor, which is a Kashmiri instrument.
He was
And,
born in England. So.
Wow. There you go.
and then we have Ravi from Fiji.
Yeah.
So it's like quite, and then we had at one point of time we had on and off Abdul as well. He's from Syria, he's a violin player. So we have been experimenting those sounds, and it's like a mini United Nations on stage.
Yes.
So and it's always so cool because everyone has their own stories, everyone has their own flavor, and the beauty of Sufi music is that it brings everything together,
Yeah.
and it's like a melting point where everyone comes on a middle ground, and just express what they are,
Yeah.
being one.
Well, it sounds fantastic. Can you tell us once again where you're going to be, what you've got coming up in the near future?
So this is about the Fringe. We're
Yes.
coming here on Sunday, 14th of March. The show starts around 6 p.m. and try to come before to enjoy some food and beverages, and then we'll start this music. I know I'm sure if you will come around, you will not regret it. And after the Fringe, there are a few things coming up, and if you want to follow, there's a Facebook page, Instagram
Yes.
page. Our names are Alan, Veloz, Farhan, Shah, and Vitali. So pretty much you can follow for the information, and yeah, that's pretty much happening
Okay.
right now.
All right, well, that's fantastic. So, you know, if you want something different, guys, get out there and get along to this fantastic event. It's going to be, well, how many more times can I say fantastic? It's fantastic.
Sufi Music Highway.
Yeah, Sufi Music Highway. And as Farhan says, you can look it up on the, they have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can check it all out on there as
And
well.
tickets available at Fringe Tips, of
Yeah, and
course.
tickets available at Fringe Tips, yeah.
Yeah.
So, get along and get it. And as you say, you've sold out previously, so,
Yeah, the one show is already sold out.
one show sold out, so,
So
yeah.
this one is still have tickets.
Yeah, okay, better get a hurry along before it gets
Yeah,
sold out.
they're selling, aren't
Tickets
they?
are selling
And it's a few
well,
weeks
yes,
away, but
yeah.
yeah, be good to get onto it very quickly.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Well, thanks, Sophia.
Well, thanks for coming in,
Yeah.
Natali
Thank
and
you.
Farhan and Alain.
Yeah.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, so thanks for having us. It's
Finally
gorgeous.
caught up, yes.
Yeah.
So it's been absolutely fantastic. All right, I'll leave it there and I'll get a track going and I shall say my goodbyes and I'll be back right after a couple of songs. So here we go.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for that.